Hi everybody, Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 5 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here today to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want, how to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity to everything you do. Today I want to revisit a concept that I've done a video on before, but it just keeps coming up in my seminars and my counseling, so I thought I'd bring it back and maybe put a new twist on it. It talks about the problem of people kind of jerking our chain, people making us feel something one way or the other, generally not something good. And I have people saying, man, how do I keep that person from jerking my chain? How do I keep them from making me feel so bad? And I think there is a quote that came to me when I was working with a client in the past. I've made a little poster out of it. It says, how do you keep people from jerking your chain? Don't give your chain to jerks. Now let's look at that so we understand what we mean by a jerk in our chain. When I'm talking about our chain, I'm talking about how we have a tendency to look to others for a sense of approval, validation, or even some objective view of our work. If we do that and that person's in the knee-jerk part of their brain, then we won't get that objective view. We won't get a true sense of our own worth and value. What we're getting is their own opinion of themselves and the world as they see it through this knee-jerk part of the brain. So we don't want to go to someone who's upset or angry or frustrated or is living their life in a way where they're criticizing everyone and everybody and look to them for a sense of objective approval or validation. Plus, we don't want to be jerking our own chain. You know, some people say, man, I really beat myself up about that. Well, that's us jerking our own chain. That's us coming from the knee-jerk part of our brain and evaluating who we are, our work, from this really limiting fight or flight part of the brain. This is not the part of the brain that we would evaluate the work of someone we love. I think that's a wonderful perspective when we're wanting to get a real clear sense of our own worth and value. We look at, okay, what's going on in my life? How am I doing this? And how would I evaluate someone I love based on the same criteria? Because when we're coming from love or wisdom, we're coming from that upper 80% of the brain, where we do have access to a sense of objectivity. And we have to make sure we're not doing this in a way that really gets in the way of that clarity, confidence, and creativity. By the same token, we want to make sure we're doing that when we go to others. Our boss, our spouse, our kids, our friends sometimes. We want to make sure they're not in that knee-jerk part of the brain if we are asking them, hey, what do you think about this, that, this, or that? Because we're not going to get a real clear objective view. We're going to get a fight or flight response. Rah, rah, and that's not going to be serving us, especially if we have a tendency to look to others for our sense of validation all the time. You know, everybody loves to be validated. Everybody loves to be recognized for their worth. But when we look to others for that, when we can't give that to ourselves, when we need it versus just want it, then we're coming from that knee-jerk part of our brain, that fear part of our brain, like we're not enough until somebody says, I am. We're not valuable until we do something for someone. We have no intrinsic value of in ourselves. We would never say that to someone we love. So what I'm thinking we want to do is to make sure to look at when we find ourselves kind of giving our chain to jerks, we want to take that back. We want to take more responsibility for who we look to for objective validation. We want to make sure we're not jerking our own chain so that we're not evaluating us from that knee-jerk part of the brain, but instead in a way that we would teach to someone we love. I hope you're finding these videos valuable. I'm having a wonderful time bringing them to you. If so, please hit the like button, share them with your friends, leave some comments below. I love to read your comments. And if you would like me to come and do a workshop at your organization about kind of how to make sure we're not jerking our own chain, or when we're evaluating others, make sure we're not coming from that knee-jerk part of the brain, we're giving them a real clear sense of evaluation and a clarity, ask me. Go to the website, billcrawfordphd.com, hit the contact button, let me know what you're interested in, and I'd love to work with you about that. In the meantime, here's to you bringing more clarity, confidence, and creativity to everything you do, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.